Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatfat on ET Now show where we get you all the stocks that are buzzing based on news flow and technicals. And talking about technicals, now we have Foram M.Chheda joining us on the show. Very good afternoon to you, Foram. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. And the first stock that you've selected is Star Cement. How are the charts looking for this one? Because we've rarely spoken actually about Star Cement when we talk about the cement pack as a whole.
Well, hi, good afternoon, and thank you for having me. Well, to begin with on Star Cement, we have seen lately that there has been some momentum in some of the cement stocks, and this stock has not been much into the radar. For now, the stock is now breaking out from a consolidation range of 152 to 170, and yesterday we saw the stock also up in the green, closer to around 6% So now we can see a bit of a retracement coming in, and currently the stock price is 174. So overall, since it's retesting the breakout level, it gives an opportunity to buy. Overall trend remains up, and along with the breakout, there was an exceptional increase in volume, which triggered, or we can say, supporting that breakout. As far as an indicator like RSI is concerned, it's attempting to move into the overbought zone, or I would say more like in a bullish territory. So again, it is supporting the overall trend of this stock. Hence, I am looking for a buy in this stock closer to level of 168 to 170. One can maintain a stop loss below the levels of 162 and can look for a higher target of closer to 188.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on those levels over there for the stock. But let's move on, talk about ICRA Securities, and why is this one in focus? No guessing, because it's obviously the Q2 numbers that the company reported. Revenue saw a growth of around 46% on a year-on-year basis, and the revenues of the company that came in at around, when you look at it, it came in at around 423 crores on a consolidated basis. So yes, an uptick that we've seen. I beg your pardon, that was the profits of the company that came in at 423 crores, which is a 41% uptick. Even the revenues of the company have seen a strong growth as well. Other than that, when you look at it in terms of overall, the EBITDA margins of the company that have come in at 64.9% versus 60.9%, and expansion in terms of the EBITDA margin as well of 393 basis points. Retail as well as institutional broken income also is something that beat the estimates of what the street was expecting. So all in all, a good set of numbers that came in from ICRA Securities of the day's highest point, but still holding on to gains of almost 3% even as of now.
Before moving on to the next stock, that is Bombay Dyeing, let's just mark the earnings in the bottom of your screen. PCBL has just come out with their quarterly numbers, and as per agencies, the numbers that we are picking up, the consolidated profits have come in at around 123 crore rupees as against 116 crore rupees a year ago. So there is an uptick when you see the profit number of PCBL, but if you look at the revenues, there is a sharp decrease in the revenue. It's coming at around 1,487 crore rupees. This as against 1,628 crore rupees. And you can see the stock react to those numbers actually. A 1.8% downtick coming in, a 1.64% downtick coming in for PCBL right now, reacting to those earnings. Yes, while the profit is seeing a marginal uptick, is the revenue from operations that's seen a decline on a year-on-year basis. We'll wait for some more operational data, operational performance data when it comes to PCBL. For now, as you can see, the stock is actually drifting much lower. Now the stock is down about 1.9%. We'll get the graph change for you also shortly. But let's move on and let's talk about the next stock. Like I mentioned, Bombay Dyeing. That particular counter is in focus in today's trading session. The reason why Bombay Dyeing is in focus, because it said that it has sold a plot in Worli, Maharashtra or Mumbai to Sumitomo Realty and Developments Unit, that's Goisu Realty, and the cost that they have sold that particular property is for 4,675 crore rupees. They have said that the proceeds will be used for repaying the loans and the balance invested in approved securities for future development. So that's the news coming in for Bombay Dyeing. They've sold the land, and therefore they are going to use the proceeds in order to repay their loans, also invest the balance in approved securities for future development. And the stock is trading higher by about 2% as we speak.
Okay, let's move on and shift focus to a stock on the technical front, and that is IIFL Finance Forum. When you look at the stock, what is the chart now indicating from this one? Last 6 months, around a 45% return is what we are seeing. From here on, are you expecting a further upside?
Absolutely. Well, we have seen a lot of this financing as well as the brokerage firms or stocks have seen a very good upside lately. And in fact, this is one of the stocks which also continues to see some more further upward momentum. Now, in the past, say 1 to around 2 months, the stock was consolidating in quite a broad range from around 600 levels on the lower side and around 630 to around 640 levels on the higher side. Now, post that, yesterday we seen the stock breaking out from that consolidation, and the stock was up by nearly 6.5%. So the overall stock continues to remain on an uptrend. As you made a mention that it's already up by 45%, and even right now what we see is a gradual up move forming higher tops and higher bottoms. So overall trend is bullish. The stock has made a breakout from a consolidation pattern. Volumes are quite exceptionally good as on yesterday. We did see a bit of a profit booking yesterday on an intraday basis, but since the stock is right now correcting, or I would say it's retesting the breakout level, it's giving an opportunity to buy the stock. So overall, the stock continues to witness some upside momentum. Hence, one should look at buying the stock closer to around 659 to around 665 levels. Stop loss should be near the levels of 643 and look for a target of closer to 710.
All right, so that is the take coming in on IIFL Finance. But Vamakshi, let's talk about Deepak Nitrite and why this one is in focus.
Well, yes, the stock is in focus on the back of a brokerage note that has come in from Axis Capital. Well, they've gone ahead and initiated coverage on this counter with a buy rating and a target price of 2,520 rupees per share. Now, what Axis Cap has highlighted is that they believe that the import substitution-led growth opportunity offers a very long runway for growth as far as Deepak Nitrite is concerned. They are reinvesting internal accruals to ramp up their specialty segment as well. And not just that, given all of these prospects, they expect to see nearly 19% EBITDA CAGR from FY23 to FY30. They also believe that the worst is now behind us, and in fact, they're expecting an earnings uptick to come in for Deepak Nitrite, and that could be one of the key re-rating triggers for this counter. So given all of those factors, Axis Cap has given a big thumbs up to Deepak Nitrite. They've initiated coverage with a buy rating, and that is the reason why the stock is in focus today. The stock is definitely trading in the green with gains of nearly 0.75%.
Okay, let's move on to the next stock. That's Kalpataru Projects, and this is one of the technicals forum. What is the chart now indicating from this one? In the last 3 months, you look at it from 550 levels, the stock has moved up almost near the 700 levels as of now. What is your view on this one?
Well, actually, yesterday we have seen a lot of these stocks, as far as these infra stocks as well as construction stocks, have seen a lot of momentum. Even yesterday, a lot of stocks have seen a lot of upside momentum. So similarly, this stock also did give a breakout, I would say more from a downward or a falling channel. And since after that it's seen a very sharp up move along with the volume, it indicates that this stock yet continues to remain strong on the upside. As far as an indicator is concerned, it is already showing a positive divergence, which adds further strength to the stock. And from a long-term perspective, the stock has moved from its 2018 highs and now continues to show that there is a more potential to this particular momentum right now, which is going on. So thus buying at current levels is attractive, and one should look for a stop loss of closer to 620 levels, and one can look for a higher target of closer to 800.
All right, moving on. Lisa, let's talk about M.Chheda Realty and why is this one making news today?
M.Chheda, they have bagged a residential redevelopment project and the sales worth is around 360 crore. Well, the project is located in Warsaw in Mumbai, and it augurs well for the company because this project it comprises mainly of 3 BHK residential apartments, and it's in a prime locality. It has already garnered interest from business leaders, celebrities and so on. And the management highlighted that it is a strategic move for the company to enter the micro market, the highly sought micro market, and also it represents a strategic step towards achieving the 5-time growth which the company envisages. Well, the stock, it was up around 6% in early morning trade, but then since then it has cooled off its gains, but still trading about 3% in today's session.
Okay, let's move on to the next stock that is in focus, and that is BML Pharma. Why is this one buzzing in trade? What is the news for you today is that now they have launched an in vitro biology capabilities in Ahmedabad, the Discovery Service site. This is a multi-million-dollar investment which is augments into the in vitro biology capabilities for the primary as well as the secondary screening as well. Now, the expansion couples a new biology services with the existing chemistry capabilities that the company already has, and this brings an added value to the customers by providing an integrated set of discovery as well as capabilities for the markets that they will be providing to. So to the market, they bring these further value-added facilities and value-added stuff that is products that are coming in as well. And on the back of that, we've seen that Pam Farma today is in focus, trading with gains of almost 2% as of now.
All right, moving on then, let's talk about BML Foram and how is this one looking on the charts to you? Do you think that after the entire defense pack that has seen a solid run, we can see it on the screen as well, you've seen a BML actually consolidate a tad bit. Do you see the consolidation actually last longer now?
Well, I think the consolidation is going to end soon and we can see some momentum in this stock. Well, BML from the base, it formed a base that closer to around 1,118 in April, and since then the stock was in a clear uptrend. It formed a high of 2720. That was probably in the month of September, that is last month, and then we have seen it retracing. So after a rally of nearly 130%, the stock has just corrected nearly 12%, and since then we have seen a consolidation. Even the consolidation has been in a range of closer to 2290 to around 2450. And right now we can see the stock is just tested back again those highs of around 2450 within that consolidation phase. So I would suggest that one can look at buying in tranches, like currently look at buying at 50% of the total quantity that one would like to invest. Then adding more at a lower level, closer to a level of around 2340. And one can maintain a stop loss of around 2287 and look for a higher target of closer to 2650.
Okay, keep an eye out on those levels for BML. Let's move on, talk about Geo Financials. This one came out with its numbers as well. Vamakshi, what is the number looking like? What is the stock doing?
Well, Vinny, as you can see, the stock is actually reeling under pressure as of now. It's down nearly 1%. But let me quickly take you through some of the numbers. Revenue did see an uptick of almost 47% sequentially. Revenue came in at 608 odd crores, while net profit came in at around 668 odd crores, an uptick of almost 101% on a sequential basis. But largely, when we look at the Q2 numbers, they are irrelevant given that the company has not started any new business. But what is important is that the presentation that came in after the company reported its numbers, they have said that they are adopting a direct-to-customer approach in order to drive cost efficiencies. They are developing a unified app for diverse financial needs. Now, what they have actually launched is the personal loans for salaried as well as self-employed individuals, which has been launched in the My Geo app in Mumbai. Consumer durable loans have been launched across 300 stores pan-India. They've also managed to establish partnerships with nearly 24 insurance companies as well. They have successfully relaunched their savings account on bill payments as well as successfully launched a sound box in the pilot stage. So largely these are some of the announcements that have come in from the company, and that is the reason why we have Geo Financials in focus as of now.
All right, let's actually take a quick note of what the markets are doing, because we have actually given up those morning gains. In fact, now we are trading with gains of as much as about 0.3% or so. In fact, that's nifty for you. We've slipped below the 19,800 mark. Let me just point out that even the global markets are actually now slipping in trade. So if you look at the European markets, you have DAX that has actually given up all of its gains, trading lower by about 0.3%. You have FTSE that's seeing marginal gains right now. Even CAC also has drifted lower, and even the US futures has also given up those gains. So in US futures, if you look at the Dow futures, is down about 100 points. You have S&P 500 futures and Nasdaq futures actually trading with cuts about 0.3%. Some commentary coming in from Iran side actually that also could have you could have the global markets react to that. But as you can see, Indian markets also given up some of those gains as we speak. 0.3% gains right now, as against almost 0.5% gain coming through benchmarks. Vinny.
Absolutely. So keeping an eye out on the markets, a bit jittery as of now. But let's move on and talk about the next stock that is in focus. And Foram, you picked out New India Assurance for us. What is it that is making you pick up this stock? Why is it making your list? And is this an buy call?
Yes, absolutely. Well, this is from a longer term perspective. So I'll move back to talking about on a weekly chart basis. So last month we did see the stock making a good breakout from a resistance level of around 133 to 134. Thereafter, we've just seen consolidating near the breakout levels, and it has just been testing those levels of 130 to around 133 and then moving back. So currently the stock price is at 143. Secondly, when we talk about the weekly volumes, they make a very big difference, or rather I would say they contribute a lot to the stock's momentum. So on a weekly chart basis, there is a very good increase in volume since the breakout level. So since last 1 month, there has been a decent increase in volume. And additionally, the stock has moved above the 200-day moving average, which indicates that the underlying trend has changed from sidewards to up. So overall trend, when it's changing, so it becomes a very good buy from an investment perspective, or I would say from a longer term perspective. So one can look at buying the stock at current levels at around 142 or even at 140 levels. Maintain a stop loss below the levels of 133 and can look for a higher target of closer to 160 to around 163.
All right, so that is the stock that is on radar coming in for Forum. But Lisa, let's talk about Glenmark Pharma and why is this one in focus today?
Approval, and that is for their tablet Abrimilis tablet, and it is used to treat skin condition psoriasis, and it is a generic version of Otezla tablet. Now talking about the annual sales of Otezla, the generic version, they had an annual sales of around $3.7 billion, and this is as per IQVIA data. And Glenmark also highlighted that they have around 188 products which is authorized for distribution in the US marketplace, and also 50 ANDAs which are pending approval with the US FDA. So that is why Glenmark is in focus on the back of the FDA approval received for their medicine.
The pharma space, and Forum, you picked up Cipla for us in terms of the technical front. When you look at it, last 1 month, a bit of a correction, subduedness, muted move is what we could call in for Cipla. What is the view now on Cipla? Do we expect a run-up coming in here?
Yes, from a near-term perspective, I'm expecting some momentum in the stock. Now, in fact, I would say since last month, it had formed more like a double top at around 1270 levels, and post that there has been a good decline. From that double top pattern target, it already got achieved at around 1135 to around 1140 levels, and now the stock is forming a base near 1150. So we can see now there is a base formation, but the most important factor here is the RSI, which is showing a bit of a positive divergence, where the price had seen a fall, but RSI had indicated more of formations of higher bottom, indicating that there is positive divergence. And since there is a base formation at 1150, so overall the stock is now quite stable. So one can look at buying the stock at current levels, where the risk reward ratio would be also favorable. So one can look at buying the stock at around 1170 levels, look for a higher target by nearly 100 odd points, and stop loss is closer to around 1145 to around 1140, so it's closer to around 25 to 30 points of the stop loss. So from a risk reward perspective, it's quite favorable to buy this.
That's the view coming in on Cipla from Forum. But let's move on and talk about Delta Corp. This has been in focus in the last couple of trading sessions. Yesterday it was in focus because Delta Tech Gaming had received an intimation for shortfall in terms of taxes of around 6,000 crores. But today, why are we picking out Delta Corp is one that yesterday in the open market we had seen BofA Securities Europe SA had actually sold 30 lakh shares, the equity shares of the company at an average price of 128 rupees approximately per share, while Society General also sold around 13.6 lakh shares in the company at 128 rupees per share. Now, overall, when you look at it, the worth of shares that both these companies have sold, that's BofA Securities as well as Society General, that is around 56 crores of shares. On the back of that, Delta Corp was in focus today, was a bit subdued, recovered from that and trading with gains as of now of 1.6%. But let's not forget that fall had continued for Delta Corp in the last couple of trading sessions as well. So today, a bit of a recovery that we're seeing here for the stock.
All right, moving on, let's also hear out about Delta Corp, because we know that it recently reported a weak Q2 numbers, and there is a lot of regulatory issues also looming around that particular counter. We spoke to Anil Malani, who is the CFO at Delta Corp, on how the company is dealing with the new tariff rates issued by the government and how will it impact the revenues going ahead. Listen in.
We are very hopeful of the outcome, as I think the demands are pretty much arbitrary. I don't think they'll stand in the court of law. And we are hopeful that at the right time, this matter should definitely come in our favor. Going forward, whatever is the new tariff that has been introduced by the department, we are fully compliant from 1st of October this month. And as far as our offline business goes, we don't foresee, or in the last 15 days, we haven't really seen a drop in the footfall of people actually coming into our casino. So from a footfall perspective, the crowd is there. However, I must admit, the last 15 days, there has been slight decline in our revenues.
All right, moving on. Let's put the spotlight then on Maruti Suzuki. We all know that they were supposed to have that board meeting on the fact that to decide on the pref share issue that they are going to issue to Suzuki Motors, and that particular board meet did take place in today. And what the company has decided that it is actually going to allocate about 1.23 crore shares to Suzuki Motor via pref issue, and the price that they've set for that pref issue is 10,420.85 rupees per share. So that's the price that they will issue the pref issue shares to Suzuki Motors. And post that particular announcement, the stock actually saw a nosedive. It went into the negative territory, but from there on now it is trying to actually recover from the day's lowest point. As you can see now, the stock is trading with gains about 0.2% as we speak.
Okay, let's move on and talk about Metro Brands. We've not seen this making the list for a very long time, Foram. So now Metro Brands, in terms of the charts and technicals, what are the view indicating now? And approximately 50% return in the last 6 months. So now, what is your view here?
Well, actually, Metro Brands at the beginning of this month has seen a very steep rally from the levels of 1,108 to around 1,298 levels. Since then, that was as on the 3rd of October. After that, we've seen a bit of a correction coming in. But ideally, that momentum came in because the stock was consolidating for nearly 2 months. So after such a long consolidation of 2 months, there was a very steep rally. After that, we saw the stock coming down, and now we can see again the price is resuming back again of moving up high. Importantly, where the volumes are concerned, when this momentum came in at the beginning of this month, we saw a very good exceptional increase in volume, which was not seen in the past 1 year. So when the price move was accompanied by such a good volume, it indicates that there is some bullishness in the stock. So since the stock has also retraced and now is showing signs of resumption, it becomes attractive to buy at current levels. And even on weekly chart, the trend of the stock continues to remain up. So one can look at buying the stock even at current levels and even add on more at around 1200 levels. Can look for a stop loss of closer to around 1150 and can expect an upside target of closer to 1350.
All right, and that was Metro Brands for you, and that indeed was the last stock on this edition of Market Fatfat. So it's a good buy for Vinny, myself and the team to put the show together. But before that, thank you so much Kunal as well as Foram and Makshi and Lisa for joining us on the show. It's a good buy from both of us. Stay tuned, closing trades coming up next.